biology. So I got cut off. Let's talk about grading policy and scheme. So essentially, we take all of world history before the year 1500. So that's beginning around the year 4000 BCE. BCE means before the Common Era. That's 6,000 years ago, right? We go up to the year 1500. So we take all that time, 4,500 years, 5,000 years or so, give or take, and compress it into one semester, 15 weeks. How do we do that? Very carefully. We'll turn it into 4 units. We just cover the surface. We're not going to get into a lot of depth. There's a lot there. Okay, so we cover the most salient features of world history prior to 1500, prior to the Common Era. In 4 units. Each unit has an exam. Right? Each exam is worth 100 points. Again, 5 questions per exam. Almost 1 question per chapter. Usually it works out that way. So 4 essay questions from the text and lecture, but 1 essay question that comes from the articles that I've posted on world events today, mostly today. How do we connect the past to the present? A lot of them, I think, this semester will deal with the United States. The United States, certainly a major factor in global affairs today. We'll take some credible sources and look to the upcoming presidential election. That is history, folks. That is world history. The United States does not exist within a vacuum, okay? It's always been transnational, part of the global context. And that will comprise 1/5 of each exam. So 1 question on kind of the current events that I discuss in this format, but also that we hopefully all discuss through the Blackboard forum. So 4 exams, 100 points each, that's 400 points. And 100 points will come from 10 quizzes. 10 points per quiz. All right, I'll actually give you 11 and drop the lowest one. That's basically 1 quiz per week, except when we have a test. And this week. No quiz this week. That would not be fair, okay? So no quiz this week, and no quizzes during the weeks we have exams. That leaves us about 10 other weeks. We'll give 1 quiz per week. Actually, I'll give 11, as I said, and drop the lowest one. What else? There is attendance and class participation will be extra credit. 5 points per unit. Times 4 units, you can get 20 points. I mean, 5 points on a test could change the grade, right? So that's important. I will look at the discussion forum and Blackboard to give you points toward attendance if you're attending, and certainly if you're participating. Okay, so that'll be added to each test grade instead of like all lumped at the end somehow. So grading scheme, look, if you get a 60 to 69, it's a D, not where you want to be probably, but it is passing, and you can work your way up from there. Accessibility services, if you have the need for an accommodation, a reasonable accommodation, please let me know, but please also make sure the folks at JCC know, especially Don Poole, who's on the Jamestown campus, so we can make that the material accessible to you, right? But please let me know as well. Classroom etiquette, look, let's just all be responsible, okay? In a sense, show up for class, watch this thing, turn off your other multitasking stuff and just focus on these lectures. Make sure you're reading the book before the lecture or else it won't make sense. Right? You got to know something before you know something, right? So skim the chapter, read the chapter, watch the video, review the chapter. You got to layer the learning, folks. Okay, there's my pedagogy, my theory of cognition. Blackboard, obviously we're using it for the posting of this video, the discussion forum, the quizzes, the tests. We use it a lot. Clunky as it is, we got to learn how to use it. Please be honest, refrain from cheating. Okay, we talked about that before. Attendance, try to put something relevant and substantial in the discussion board every time it's posted. If you feel you need to withdraw from this course, first of all, if you just want to get out of this class, it's not what you thought you were getting into. If you do it this week, it's called a drop. You can drop this at no penalty, add something else, but you got to move quick, okay? Contact your advisor or me if you're not sure how to do that. But after this week, if you're in this course, you're like official in here, and you need to withdraw formally, okay, to get out of it without a grade. Like if you just disappear, the computer's going to give you an F, right? You don't want that. A W for a grade means you went through the official withdrawal process. A W doesn't hurt your GPA. Frankly, in the future, no one's going to look at it and wonder why you dropped history 1510. but it could affect your financial aid. Right? You don't want to drop under 12 credit hours. So please, before you drop a course, withdraw from a course, please talk to your advisor, the instructor. Talk to somebody who knows what they're doing, okay? Hopefully I do, and you can talk to me in a number of ways. In person, yes, actually on the Jamestown campus, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Unless COVID shuts us down, I'll be in the office 9:45 to 12:45. That's also a good time to Zoom, assuming no one's in the office. We'll figure that out through Starfish. Starfish is kind of the office hour management system, which I think works pretty well. So you can schedule through Starfish. That's on that main portal that we saw when we entered this course tonight, or today, depending on when you're watching this. By phone, you might need to leave a message, right? I'm not going to be sitting next to the phone all the time. But leave a message. The system will send your voicemail to my email. Please leave your number so I can call you back. Okay? I know some instructors are putting out their cell phone numbers. I got like 200 of you guys. That's just a lot of cell phone. And usually if I don't know who's calling, I don't answer it anyway, because you know how it is with the telemarketing nonsense going on. Okay? So I'll call you back. You can also Zoom, have a Zoom meeting with me. That's something we're all getting comfortable with. Either on the above mentioned times, Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning, or Mondays and Wednesdays from 8 to 9. Okay. There's my email. Please, when you email me, don't just say, I'm in your history class, because I'm like, what? That's all I teach, right? Which history class are you in? Okay. The one that's on YouTube, I can figure out who you are, or at least what to talk about if you tell me that. The rest of the syllabus is our course outline. So the week of August 24th, here we are, right? Talking about what the course is. The next video that goes to you will be on historiography. Like, what is history? How do we pursue it? Why do we study it? How do we do it, right? So what is history? And we'll try to do class introductions to the best of our ability through Blackboard's forum. So for tonight's lecture, there's not a whole lot to discuss, right? Other than to say your name and where you're from. I'll put that in the direction side. I'm Fred from Fredonia or something. Fred Smith from Fredonia. So you can kind of like break the ice a little bit. I might have some folks out there, I hope I do, who are really translocal. We're really not in Chautauqua County, which is always kind of cool, right? Because why not? You can watch this. I can have people 12-hour time zone away be watching this. It doesn't matter, right? So that might be cool. We'll also talk about prehistory. Chapter 1 looks to the human experience before history. If you're like, what does that mean? We'll get to that next time. But essentially, historians decide we are going to study the time when people lived in cities and had means of recording their culture and were really organized. We'll call that history, and anything that came before that we'll call prehistory, and give it to the anthropology department. Yeah. Each of us have our specializations, right? Historians really are biased toward the written word. Well, we don't get writing until about 6,000 years ago. Okay? So, everything before 6,000 years ago, or, stick with me, 4,000 BCE, is all stuffed into one chapter, like millions of years of human experience. So we'll talk about that later this week. Then next week, we'll really get into the material, lecturing on chapter 2 and 3, before we get to chapter 4. They just go numerically, okay, which is essentially chronologically, although how do you write a world history chronologically? In the year 4000 BC, this happened everywhere? No, you've got to move around regionally. So it's really tough to organize world history. I think your authors have done a tremendous job. Jerry Bentley, actually, the lead author for your textbook, who's actually passed away recently, was one of the foremost world historians. Okay? Which we think world history is kind of a new subject. Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. Okay? When history started as a discipline, white, wealthy men wrote about their own countries and how great their countries were and how everyone else basically sucked. Okay, that's how history was written 130 years ago. Right? So we're learning, we're getting better. Maybe we're not perfect yet, but we're getting better. So September 14th through 21st, first exam. October 12th through 19th, second exam. November 2nd through 9th. Interesting. Wow. Try to get your exam done maybe on the 2nd, because November 3rd is election day, and I'm not sure what's going to be going on in this country November 3rd and 4th. That could be a very interesting time to try to write an essay. Try to write that, right? And then your fourth exam, which is the final. The final is just on these 1 to 5 chapters. That's a lot. You don't need to do a whole test on well, for you folks, 5,000 years of human history. Okay, just the final unit is the final test. Of course, I'm giving it to you on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. Sorry about that. Hopefully it will not be a date that lives in infamy for you folks. And then we're done, okay? So stick with me. There's still some room in the course, so to speak. Of course, there's a lot of room. But there's room for students to add if you have a friend who needs to take an Other World Civilizations course, maybe can't fit something else in their schedule. Have them add this as quickly as possible before we kind of move on and leave them in the dust. In the meantime, please review the syllabus, get into the discussion thread, and give your name and where you're from. Get a hold of the textbook somehow, ebook, used book, borrowed book. If you are somehow on the Jamestown campus, I do have a copy of it, my only other copy, down at the Learning Center upstairs in the Hulk building. But please get a hold of the textbook. It is really central to this course, especially since I'm not with you 2 or 3 times a week. Right? But until you see me again, take care. Please email me or call me with your questions. I'm really happy to have you in the course, and I'm looking forward to learning about world history with you. Thank you.